let's take a second look, start with that tweet, because I think it's worth picking apart a little bit. I think it was written fabulously by the president. I hereby demand, and will do so officially tomorrow, that would be today, Monday, that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. Let's start with the notion of an informant. There is a difference between a spy who's been put into the Trump campaign by the DOJ or the FBI or what have you, versus an informant. An informant would be someone who has a friendly face, if you will, to the campaign, who's just trying to glean information from members of the campaign.
It's a distinction without a difference, frankly. Look, these are, or in this case, the source, let's just call them, was a recruited asset of a law enforcement agency, in this case the FBI, seeking to collect information. And you can call them an informant, you can call them a spy, you can call them a source, but it's all the same thing, frankly. You had a person recruited for a task, targeting an organization for information that they were going to report back to law enforcement. And so there's all sorts of semantic games that can be played, but what you had was the full force and power of the FBI leveraged against a political campaign. And that is an outrageous abuse of law enforcement powers, the likes of which we've never seen.
Political purposes. That was expressly written in the president's tweet, for political purposes. So we look at that, and so what would be for political purposes? Well, the motive is pretty obvious, and that would be to harm the Trump for President campaign at the time and help the Hillary for President campaign at the time, right?
Right, and we already have Lisa Page's text message. She's the attorney working at the FBI, who was the girlfriend of Peter Strzok, the FBI agent who was involved in all this mess. And Lisa Page says, quote, "POTUS wants to know everything we're doing," close quote.
Right.
Well, POTUS is Barack Obama. I don't know how much clearer it could possibly be.
Right. Tough to prove motive unless there's a paper trail. And I believe that these people are so devious, so slimy, that there probably is no paper trail here. But what we do have, Chris, is we have bona fide leaks. We've seen all the leaks last week to the New York Times from people within the FBI and the DOJ and people who were formerly members of the FBI and the Department of Justice. And so in an investigation like this, seems to me that these leakers suddenly become witnesses for the Inspector General.
They are. And look, the rats are scrambling. I wouldn't be surprised if any number of them have lawyered up and are making proffers about what they knew and when they knew it. Because for a very long time, Mueller and company, to include people like Brennan, Comey, were on the offensive. They were calling the shots. But the more that we've looked into this case, and when I say we, I mean Judicial Watch, but also people like Mr. Nunes and other people in the media, and tried to peel back the story, the more we've exposed, the worse it gets, and they know it. And the jig is up. People understand what happened here. They know it's a political hit job. They know that there is an effort on the part of people like Brennan and Comey and others to steer the election. And in their effort to steer things and to create an outcome that they wanted, they went to virtually any lengths, to include foreign intelligence surveillance courts, getting warrants there, recruiting an asset to run against Trump campaign people. This is the lowest of dirty tricks in the sense of the full powers of the government being leveraged against a political opponent. And they did almost everything under the sun to try to get the outcome they wanted. The problem is the guy that they thought was unelectable, well, he won. And now they've got a real problem.